you one thing, if a little green man pops out of me, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe.
Welcome to the Strange Podcast with Sam and Logan.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome to The Strange Podcast. This is episode 37, and I'm Logan Marks.
And I'm Sam Baxter. Today's July 7th, 2018.
Oh, a couple days after 4th of July.
Yeah, did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. We had me and my daughter, we went out and shot some fireworks off, and man, everybody around our area just
shoot them off, huh?
Yeah, it was like the sky was all just lit up all night.
That's pretty cool, man.
I was like, well, most places you can't. I mean, people do anyway, but
yeah,
you can't light them off. But like where we live, you can.
So it's supposed to not, though, huh?
Yeah, you're not supposed to, but like everybody does.
Hey, man, people are proud.
Yeah, so I'm just surprised there wasn't a fire.
No shit. Did you spend a lot of money on fireworks?
Not really. Probably, I think like $40.
No, it's not bad.
It's not too bad because we fired a couple of them, and she's still too young to do like the really crazy ones.
Yeah. So. Oh, you know, on Netflix, that Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, I think that new season's coming out too.
Yeah, I just started watching it.
Is the new season pretty good?
Yeah, it's okay. They had Dave Chappelle was on it.
Oh, cool.
He was pretty funny. And that one guy that from I can never pronounce his name. Zach
Galifianakis?
There you go, Galifianakis.
He's pretty good on there.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. He's kind of a different character.
He strikes me as somebody who's like funny in front of the cameras, but is kind of like more serious, like 1-to-1.
Yeah, he's kind of a serious guy, I guess. Yeah, but I don't know, like everything he does is kind of funny. But he's more of that kind of awkward humor.
Oh, I gotcha. So that was yeah, I'll probably end up watching that, starting that. I think that just came out this week, didn't it?
I don't know. I just was looking at it before we started the podcast, and it was on there, so I just got to watch a couple episodes.
Yeah, Jerry's always got some pretty good cars. It's pretty nice. I wonder if he's ever gonna run out of some weird cars. I mean, I saw that DeLorean when he had the DeLorean on. That car just kept breaking down.
Yeah,
seems like the car was a piece of shit. It's lucky that it probably lasted as long as it did because of Back to the Future, you know.
I know.
I'm sure without that shit would have went.
Well, they went out of. I think they went out of business.
They did.
They didn't really sell that many cars.
No, but I'm saying like that movie probably helped it stay longer than it even did, you know. Because without it, you know, I mean that's what it always be known for is Back to the Future. Yeah, there's been some good episodes. There's been some really good stuff. So, is there anything you plan on watching soon?
Not really. I haven't really had time to watch movies or do anything lately.
Just too much work?
Yeah.
You're watching too much Star Wars?
Too much Star Wars.
Too much
enough Star Wars.
Too much Episode 8.
Episode 8.
That just came out on Netflix, I think, a week ago.
Yeah, I saw that it was on there. I didn't even look at the ratings on it. But I know it did really shitty on IMDb and
Yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't really care for it. I'm starting to think that a lot of those ratings on there are kind of bullshit. Like people putting in their information, their film reviews. There was a movie that just came out not too long ago. It's called Blockers. It's supposed to be like Cock Blockers. You know which one I'm talking about? It has John Cena.
Oh yeah.
So I was reading.
Is that any good?
So here's my gripe with it. So if you go on their website on IMDb, I don't know about like Fandango or Rotten Tomatoes, but on IMDb, you know, I went on there and I took a look at it, and there's so many people like, oh, it's so funny, you know, nonstop laughing. One person was crying, you know, like tears, and so I was kind of, you know, I read a few of them. I usually don't I'm not somebody who bases my what I watch on other people's reviews. I don't do that at all. I never have. But I was just kind of looking at it because I wasn't sure what that movie was about when I first heard about it. And I just kind of saw some of those reviews, and I thought, all right, well, you know, maybe it just has a chance. And I was in the mood for a comedy, so I'll say I'll go check this out. So I went and saw it, you know, and I like comedies. I mean, I like a lot of genres, but comedies is one of them I like. And when I was watching it, I honestly did not laugh one time. And I was like, this movie sucks. Like this movie's like horrible. So when it was done, I went back and I was reading it, and I just kind of dug farther, and then more people were putting like, hey, these reviews have got to be fake. That people were saying it's so funny because this movie sucks. Like there's like nothing really funny. You know, the jokes are dumb. You know, just all kinds of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I gave it a chance. I really wanted to like it, and I wanted a comedy, and I wanted it to be funny, but it just wasn't. So like, no, like I said, I didn't like reviews. I don't care. I don't base any of my my movies that I watch on them. But this even makes me want to do it less. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Usually when I look at reviews, I always look at like the negative ones.
I know, but these are just all mixed in. I know.
I would see like if there's a lot of negative ones, then I would be like, I don't mind when I watch it.
I usually do that too, but I mean, like I said, I just kind of looked at a couple of them just to see what it was, and I looked at some of the negative ones, and I saw that. But I mean, it makes me wonder, like, there's got to be a lot of like people just posting fake shit on there to get its reviews higher, make people go watch it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are, because there's a lot of times I'm like, how did this get such high reviews?
Yeah, I was like, this is bullshit.
Because like it's like ridiculous. Because I'll watch it and I'll read the reviews and I'm like, why is this so rated so high?
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't make any sense. Because like I'm watching, I'm not laughing.
Yeah,
I usually laugh pretty easy with stuff. And
yeah,
like,
yeah.
If I'm not laughing at it, then I know it's not funny.
Yeah, it's like this is garbage, man. This. Like and then it makes you wonder, like, how did this review get so high? And you look, and it's like, this has got to be like some fake shit, man. So anyway, I usually don't go off that, and like I said, if a movie looks good, I'll go watch it. There's been a lot of movies that everybody, people claiming is going to be a dud. It looks real shitty, and I'll go watch it, and I like it. And that's all that matters to me. That's all. So anyway, I think we should probably get into some of our news. You think?
Let's do it. Okay, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll go to the strange news.
All right.
We'll see you guys in a little bit.
It's time for strange news.
And we're back.
All right, strange news, man. I got some weird shit this week, man. So
What do you got?
So here's one that's kind of odd. So this funeral home got sued because they were supposed to do cremations, and they ended up finding the woman's body that they were supposed to cremate. They found it a few years after it was allegedly cremated. The body was still embalmed, and it was in the funeral home. It was 3 years after she had died, and it was just left decomposing there for like 3 years. So the people that found it, like the employees and some of the, like, I guess one of the family members went in there to like pay a bill or something, and somehow they found it. The body of the old woman, it was embalmed, and it was found on a board covered with cloth and surrounded by fragrances to mask the smell. So
Like where in the
in the funeral home, like just off, like in another room. It wasn't even, it wasn't hidden
in a different room.
Yeah, just in another room.
It wasn't like buried underneath something, like in
no.
the basement. Or just like had it there.
No, it was just there. They thought it was supposed to have been cremated. They sent it there and they said, "Hey, we want to cremate a body." They gave him some fucking ashes and shit, something, and so
Yeah.
the
But,
people
like,
the people were suing them.
That's just crazy. It's like it's not like it's a box of Oreos and just like
Just
we'll
sitting
just
there.
throw it in this. Just put it in the back. It's been sitting there for a couple months.
Yeah, we'll just put it on the shelf and see if it decomposes or dies. No, this is a human body. This is a woman's, the mother or grandmother, a sister. It was just left there. It was supposed to be cremated, and it's just fucking chilling there. So the funeral home, license has been revoked, and the funeral home is asking that the lawsuit be dismissed. So,
Oh, please, come on.
I know it's just a little.
It's just one body. It's just
yeah,
one body.
Who knows what else they've been doing in that fucking place?
I know. I mean, who hasn't left a dead body around the place?
I know everybody's guilty of that. Raise your hand if you've done it too. Oh wait, nobody but me. Oh shit. So yeah, so that's pretty shitty for the family, especially if they were like, they're pretty bummed about it. Whatever they have in their urn at home that's on the mantle is not her.
Like,
It ain't her.
it's a leftover barbecue.
I know.
Barbecue residue.
It's briquettes. So what do you got?
I got a Daytona man peacefully surrenders Tuesday evening after claiming he planted a bomb in a mailbox, and so the police come down there, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and people are saying that this 52-year-old man who's wearing a backpack was like hovering around this mailbox, and it looked like he planted something in there, and then he took off into his home, so they surrounded him. And the reason that he said they did that is because he claimed that his neighbor was shooting microwaves into his brain, causing causing him to. Yeah, it causes him to have to do all this stuff to defend himself from his neighbor. So they pretty much threw some tear gas in there, and he surrendered. He surrendered peacefully after that.
That weakling. No.
So now he's got like a little over $10,000 bond. And
oh shit!
He's in jail right now.
I wonder how he found out that he was being hit with microwaves.
I don't know. Well, he's probably just paranoid.
I know. I'm just saying. I just wonder what his reasoning was.
His neighbor's out there like trying to get reception with his cell phone.
I know.
He's out there
shooting those at me.
Shooting microwaves at me.
Oh, fuck. That's pretty shitty.
I feel bad for the guy. It's 'cause he's probably like just all paranoid and just needs a medication.
Oh, I know, man. Maybe he was drinking too much. Who knows? Just couldn't separate the two from reality.
I couldn't part reality from his drinking rages.
So I got another thing here. Just like we were talking about the cremation stuff on the counter, left on the shelf. So an Ontario man is selling 6-year-old McDonald's food on eBay.
6-year-old McDonald's food?
So this guy he sold a McDonald's cheeseburger and fries that spent 6 years on the shelf. So he posted the listing on the auction for 6-year-old burgers and fries. He said they were never eaten or never refrigerated.
So I wonder what they look like.
So
they look like.
So let me tell you, the fries are stunningly good looking. They look like they were purchased just this morning.
I believe it because I've dropped fries. Like when you're in the car, you eat fries in the car and you drop one to the seat, and it's been maybe like I don't eat at McDonald's that often, you know. And when I do, like in the car, but like, and there'll be times like maybe 6 months later, and I'll find it, and it looks brand new, like
same,
take a bite out of it.
Yeah. Oh, I can just eat this right now. Yeah. So, but the burger it darkened a little bit. The bun is about as hard as a hockey puck, but it looks like it's just brand new cosmetically. He says.
That's crazy because you would think it would mold.
I know, man. I don't know, but
because do you remember that documentary? Or was it? I think it was a documentary that Super Size Me.
Super Size Me, yeah.
I think it was on there where there was a guy, and he was taking like burgers from different places, and like he had like McDonald's burgers, just they didn't rot. There was like something in them that just didn't. They wouldn't
like Twinkies.
They wouldn't. Yeah,
they won't rot.
They won't die.
Yeah.
But like he had burgers from other places, and they were decomposing like within a week or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he actually did a little test. He put a homemade burger and fries next to the fast food ones that he bought 5 years ago, and the homemade stuff's rotting as expected, mold, decomposing, all that stuff. These ones aren't. He says like the cheese on the homemade one, especially the fries and potatoes, look like bits of charcoal now, like they're actually decomposing. But anyone interested, the McDonald's burgers and fries started at $22.91, and bids have reached $62.65 on Friday, with 6 days remaining. So as of today, it's at $62.65, and you got 6 more days, people. So by the time you hear this, you'll have about 4 more days.
Why would people buy that when you can go buy a fresh one?
I don't know, man. I think it's just the idea of something that's been there that hasn't.
Yeah, but you can make your own. Just let it sit there.
I know, but do you want? I know. Nobody wants to wait.
Appreciated value.
Yeah. but we're in a time where people don't want to wait.
I guess
you don't want to wait 6 years. You want it now, and then when you have it, but in another 6 years, it'll be 12 years, right? So
I wonder what the guy's gonna do with it that buys it.
I don't know, man. That's a good
he's
question.
Gonna have his own collection of.
I don't know, man. Maybe he's gonna put it next to his toenails in a jar.
Toenail clippings and
I know these.
And jars of urine that.
Oh yeah, I remember one of in middle school, one of our PE teachers. He told us one time that he's been clipping his nails ever since he was like 16. He's been keeping them.
What?
Yeah, he says when he clips his toenails, he's kept them in a jar.
Like in a jar?
Yes.
For what?
I don't know. Probably like the same fucking burger. I don't know.
He's gonna clone himself.
I don't know, man. I don't know why you would do that, and I don't know why you would tell a classroom of kids that. I don't know, man. I don't know what his angle was.
And 6 weeks later, he was sent to prison.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why.
Yeah, they have an idea. Fucking toenails. Yeah, man. So like I said, some people like collecting weird stuff, man. I mean, I don't. I mean, I probably have my own weird shit that I collect, but nothing that could be, you know, eaten, or nothing that's like this fucking embalmed and fucking kept, supposed to be kept all looking fresh. Who knows, man? What's in these burgers that does it? So what do you got?
Well, all right. Well, I have something from your favorite newscaster, Alex Jones.
Oh,
he's in the news again. Alex Jones claims Alex Jones claims globalists and left-wingers are going to launch, or they were going to launch, a civil war on July 4th.
What?
So, according to Mr. Jones, the globalist elite are deliberately beginning to plan to create a civil emergency to force Donald Trump out of office. He cites the Financial Times of London as a source, although you can't really find, there's nothing on there that says it.
So allegedly he's got a substantial newspaper, but this really, they didn't say it?
Basically, like, you know how he reads between the lines and stuff. So he's claiming that the left is basically going to try to take over, kick out Donald Trump, and the right needs to like defend itself and be prepared. So get your guns, get all ready. He was I watched some of the video. He's just getting all emotional about it, and he's talking about it like he keeps like through the video. He keeps talking about how all this stuff is going on, but he has like no real proof about it. Mm-hmm. And he keeps out, like, every time he goes in, he's like, "Oh, when I come back from this commercial where I sell you all this fucking shit, and we're gonna have more things to talk about, more proof that they do it." And then he just keeps talking about how they're gonna take over, but he never has any real proof.
Oh, really? So he never shows it.
He never shows it. I kept looking at the video. I never heard anything.
Oh, fuck. Jeez. Did you read any of the comments that people were posting?
Yeah, well, afterwards, like, I guess people on Twitter were like making these jokes about like about the Civil War letters from like if we were having a civil war right now, mm-hmm. And it would be things like, oh, you know, the people writing to their wives, or, you know, or their family during the war, like how troubling times are because during the war and stuff, like, oh, we've been without the internet for 4 days. No.
Just all of their gripes and all of their hardships.
Yeah, the hardships. It's pretty funny. Like, all kinds of people started putting stuff on Twitter about it.
So he's really saying that basically, watch your backs, leftists.
Yeah, pretty much. He was pretty much serious.
Jeez, and he never provided any reasoning.
I mean, yeah, it's always a bunch of like little news clips that don't really amount to anything.
It's like a McDonald's commercials. You see that?
Well, like the gay frog thing that he did, and I can't remember what it was, but something was turning the frogs gay, and it was also causing like men to be less have less testosterone and things like that.
What? Damn, I didn't see that, man. I think I need to check out Alex Jones again. I haven't watched him in a long time. That's crazy, man. It's not as crazy as
that, dude.
It's not as crazy as his next story in Florida. So our Florida portion, man. Florida cop accuses Burger King of putting dirt on his burger. So Tim McCormick, a cop in Fort Myers, publicly accused the local Burger King of serving him dirt on his burger. But after the investigation, the dirt was found to be burger seasoning.
He's never heard of pepper or...
No, man, they must have put some seasoning on there that he said it was dirt, man.
So did he start like a big old ruckus, or what?
Yeah, well, they had an investigation, man. Officers watched the video, the background video, and see if anything appropriate happened, and it was just part of cooking the meat. Salt and pepper blend applied to the food. He said it's possible that the spice mixture, as well as the flame broiled grilling process itself, may have left particles that the officer thought was dirt. So this fucking cop, man, he opened up an investigation. This is tax dollars at work here, people.
Oh, man.
Fucking investigating a burger that may have had dirt on it. It was just seasoning at Burger King. I haven't had Burger King in a long time. I liked Burger King. I don't remember ever feeling that it was dirty or gritty. Do you?
It always has like that charbroiled taste.
Yeah,
to
but
it,
I mean, but that's not gritty. That's not like sand or dirt in there.
Not that I know of.
No, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they did. I mean, no, I can't say they did because they watched the video of the the employees, and there was nothing of that source.
Maybe he was just used to people like everywhere he goes,
Spitting
like,
his food.
Spitting his food.
You had to have done something.
I know I'm a dick cop.
I know.
He like maybe like they didn't do anything to his food, so like he's not used to it tasting.
I
good.
know. I know. Why does this taste so damn good? You
This
tell me
doesn't
what you
taste-
did.
There's no spit or semen in this food. I can't eat this.
So yeah, Florida cop. Good work.
Alright. Nice work, shitty cops. Nice work. So I got a story from this Nigerian healer got killed because he was selling a bulletproof charm that he had.
Charm.
So,
Bulletproof.
yeah. So
Wasn't
he was
last week somebody had a knife-proof vest?
yeah, this guy had a knife-proof vest. I'm going to bullets now. On
Oh
this one.
shit! All right.
So he was killed after instructing a man to shoot him after he was wearing the charm around his neck. So they arrested the guy who shot him for a suspicion of murder, but the charms, I guess in Nigeria, the charms are pretty popular. They get sold to people. Their traditional healers are consulted for like cures for various ailments. But there was several reports of people being killed after testing bulletproof charms in medicine. So I guess it happens a lot over there in Nigeria.
Wow, nothing usually happens in Nigeria. That's weird. I'm so surprised about this one.
Yeah, so the guy who sold him was trying to sell the charm to him, and he was like, "Well, you don't want to put the charm and go and try to shoot me. You're not gonna be able to do nothing to me." The guy pulled out the gun and shot him, and he fucking died.
There are bulletproof vests, right? Yeah, I mean he knows that, right?
Maybe he thought these are cheaper.
Oh, I got you.
So you don't want to spend, bulletproof vests are expensive.
Yeah.
Talking a couple $100, but
Yeah, why spend that much money when you can get a bulletproof vest that's made out of cardboard?
You can get a charm for like probably $20.
What the fuck, man? All right, well, I mean, I'm glad it was fucking tested. Fucking charm.
So what do you got?
So the last one I got here, man. Okay, so women are being warned against because basically from doctors that I guess there's been some new rejuvenation type, you know how women, like having all this natural stuff for their skin and exfoliation and all that, stuff. So I guess the new trend, but doctors are warning against women putting wasp nests in their vaginas.
What?
Yeah, women are being warned. A bizarre new trend that suggests using ground-up wasp nests to tighten up and rejuvenate their vaginas.
Oh, I think this has been around for a while. Cause I remember hearing about this a couple years ago. It's getting big again.
I guess, yeah. I didn't know it a couple years ago, but they were saying that some online retailers have been selling oak galls, which are nests that house wasp eggs before they hatch, and touting them as a natural way of cleaning their female genitalia. It's saying that if the product reportedly is crushed into a paste and applied topically, with one listed on Etsy, which has now been removed, claiming it can improve a woman's sex life. So it's also being claimed that it can help heal episiotomy cuts, rejuvenate the uterine wall, and clean out the vagina after childbirth. There are warnings that it can burn when applied. So
it may sting a little.
Yeah, this may fucking fuck you up pretty bad. So. But the gynecologist Jen Gunter is warning women not to get sucked into this new trend after branding it as dangerous, saying the practice is using drying agents to tighten the vagina. So basically, yeah, this fucking people are saying that if you put this shit in your vagina, it'll help heal it with any type of problems you may have, ovarian cysts, thrush, fibroids, endometriosis. It can help all that out. It's basically a detox for your womb.
Was this something Gwyneth Paltrow was selling?
Fuck, I don't know.
Because she got a lot of line of like stuff like that where she sells like crazy shit for like healing and like rejuvenating shit. Yeah, I
don't know, man. I don't buy into any of that stuff. And if I was a woman, I think I would leave this alone. It's saying that it's the the gynecologist is saying this could, putting stuff in there could, lead to toxic shock syndrome, and we've all heard that can kill women. So, women, you should probably stay away from this. I'm not a doctor, but
keep that stuff out of your vagina.
Yeah, but I do play one on this radio show. I would recommend against putting fucking wasp nests in your vagina. I thought that was a weird one, man. I just had to read that, and I'm hoping, nobody thinks that this is a good idea, because I wouldn't do it if I was a woman. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
That's probably good advice. Good advice, Doctor.
Thanks. Yeah, you're right.
Dr. Sam. Don't stick those up your vagina.
Yeah.
All right, so we probably should get into the main topic, which is the Boogie Man.
Oh, man. Does he like to dance? Boogie. Boogie. All right. We'll be back for the Boogie.
And we're back.
All right.
So, the Boogeyman. So, out of all the monsters, there's one that everyone knows. For some reason, for the Boogeyman, there's no really clear representation of what he physically looks like, or what his appearance is. When you hear the Boogeyman, you really don't picture anything,
Mm-hmm.
You just maybe like a shadow, but there's really no real description of him. For someone so evil to be so well known and not have anybody know what he looks like is just kind of weird. And so every country has their version of what the dreaded creature looks like, but the simulators are few from none. But one thing is the same, that he loves children. He loves stealing them away or eating them. Most people know him as the mysterious monster that will come and take them away, if they start misbehaving. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the Llorona, Mm-hmm. To most, he's a childhood memory that their parents would use, to keep them from misbehaving, or just a system to control their children, when they don't want to listen or don't want to do what they're told. So in this episode, we're going to look into the terrifying being that is the Boogeyman, and what we might find might be a little bit more terrifying than what we thought. So here's a story from one of our listeners, Margaret's Boogeyman story, and it goes like this. I remember when I was a kid, probably around the age of 11 or so. It was back in the 70s, and back then kids would spend all day outside playing with friends. Not like nowadays, when most people spend time indoors playing video games and watching YouTube. We were out there from dusk till dawn. My mother would always tell us to make sure we got home before it got dark, because she didn't want to worry. She didn't want to be out looking for us, after dark. And because of that, she'd always tell us that she wanted home before dark because she didn't want the Boogeyman to follow us home. She would tell me and my brother of tales of the Boogeyman following children home and then terrorizing them, and then it would steal them away in the middle of the night while they slept. So my mother would always tell us, shit like that to keep us in line. But as I was getting older, I was getting a little more skeptical, and I took warnings with more of a grain of salt. The summer was ending and the days were getting shorter, and because we were having too much fun, we stayed out longer than we should have. And before we knew it, it got night and it got dark. Basically, the night had snuck up on them. She says, me and my brother, who was about 13, were walking home in the darkness, and as we walked down the neighborhood, we walked by a dark alleyway, and then there we both hear some loud crashing sounds coming from the alleyway. It sounded like something had tipped over a trash can, and when we looked down that way, we saw what looked like shiny cat eyes looking back at us, and all of a sudden they just disappeared. I remembered my mom's story about the Boogeyman following us home after dark, and I started to get nervous. My brother told me to, stop being a baby, and that it was only a cat. So she says, I told myself that the Boogeyman was just a story, and we both moved on. We were almost to the house when I was getting more relieved, when again we heard another noise, which sounded like something rustling in the bushes. We then looked over and we could see the same glowing eyes, but this time there was a human figure behind them, and it looked like it was peeking behind the bushes, looking at us. It stood there watching us, and I know this time my brother didn't think it was a cat, because he immediately grabbed my hand and started running, dragging me behind him. We made it home. I didn't even know if whatever the thing was had even followed us, because I was too scared to look back. When we got home, my mother scolded us for coming home late, and that was that. So then she says, later that night, when I went to bed, I couldn't help but think that the Boogeyman was outside my house waiting for me to fall asleep. I laid there trying to stay up, and every time I dozed off, I could hear scratching at the window, which would start to startle me and it'd wake me back up again. She said I could feel something breathing right up to my face, really close, waiting for me to fall asleep. When I got brave enough, I opened my eyes and nothing would be there. I struggled to stay awake, but I finally fell asleep, and then when I woke up the next day, I was still in my bed. I ended up finding blood on my bed, all over my legs. I was horrified. I screamed and freaked out, waking everybody up in the house, only to find out later that I'd gotten my period. When I when I told my friends what happened, they told me the only reason that I wasn't taken away is because when I got my period, I was no longer a child, and the boogeyman didn't want me anymore. I don't believe this is true, but for a long time I thought it did. I thought it was true. So after that, I made sure that I got home before dark.
The fucking boogeyman's a pedophile.
I call this one the fish shell. It's basically, for most, the boogeyman is a figment of our imagination, but there was a time when there was an actual monster that was a real life being. He was a person known by many names as like the Brooklyn Vampire, the Gray Man, the Moon Maniac, and the Boogeyman. But when he got caught, they simply knew him as Albert Fish. Fish was born in 1870 in Washington, D.C. His family had a long history of mental illness, which would be one explanation of why he was so fucked up. Fish was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and was never treated for it. At the age of 5, Fish's father had died, and soon after that his mother abandoned him. She ended up leaving Fish at a St. John's orphanage in DC's Foggy Bottom neighborhood. While at the orphanage, it was said that Fish was living a real life of hell. He was beaten every day, whipped, and tortured, and he was also subjected to like sexual abuse and humiliation while he was at the orphanage. So he endured all this over a course of 4 years, when all of a sudden his mother returned and took it back. And at that point, he had already been pretty damaged from all the trauma that he had endured as a child, and that pretty much, a lot of people think that's what pretty much shaped his persona and why he became such a demented killer when he grew up. As Fish got older, his behavior became more erratic. He would do things like drink his own urine, eat his own shit, and by the time he was 20, he got into the habit of kidnapping young boys off the streets of Manhattan, and he would rape them. I mean, the guy was basically a piece of crap.
Yeah, no doubt.
So in 1898, Fish married and soon became the father of 6 children.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Later during Fish's trial, one of the children's testimony claimed that they had a pretty average life until his mother ran off with another man, leaving them alone with their father to raise them. And they said that Fish had become unpredictable and strange, even worse after that. I guess when he was married, he was kind of seemed like a normal person until his wife left. He would force them to watch him eat large quantities of raw meat, proclaiming to them that he was Christ, and basically collecting publishable material on cannibalism.
Jeez. So
like he was getting like really fucking weird. You know, and for 27 years, Fish captured, raped, and murdered and ate countless innocent children. He officially only confessed to 3 murders, but later claimed that he had, in his lifespan of 65 years, he'd killed more than 100 children in every state.
Jeez. So
Fish said that he preyed exclusively on children because they were the most tastiest. Fish averted authorities for a long time until he murdered a 10-year-old girl named Gracie Budd in 1928. The investigation was open for 6 years until detectives got a break in the case, because on November 11th in 1934, Grace's mother received an anonymous letter describing Grace's death. The letter read, quote, "Grace sat in my lap and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her. I choked her to death, then cut her in pieces so I could take my meat to my room and cook it and eat it." So the police were able to trace the paper Fish wrote on and back to his residence. And when they did, the police found him, and Fish confessed to killing the young girl as well as a bunch of other murders. He was eventually convicted and sentenced to death by electrocution. When they told him that he was going to be electrocuted, he was actually really excited to die that way.
Excited.
So this was a real life guy, Albert Fish, and pretty much for a long time, you know, people he evaded the cops, and when he was finally caught, they realized how many people he killed. So
God, so many people, so many kids,
and so many children. I mean,
dang, that's like, I hate to say unbelievable, but fuck, man, I can't believe he got away for so long for so many.
Yeah, I don't know. That it's kind of creepy, dude.
It's definitely creepy.
You know, I mean, there's probably, you don't even know how many people today are like that.
Exactly. I mean, you could be working with somebody that's totally, like that likes doing shit like that. You don't know unless you fucking get to know them really well. And a lot of times you don't want to get to know your coworkers at all.
I know. I don't know if it's just that's a part of it. It's like we just don't really get to know people anymore. Really, because you just kind of...
Yeah, people put up the wall, right? They don't want... Like, I just want to know you from work, and that's it.
Yeah, it could even be the case, that we don't know as much. People don't... Back then, people used to let people get away with shit just because they were, well-dressed or whatever.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a little different.
Yeah, it's
or
more
they have,
DNA.
like, news. Yeah, you have news and people investigating stuff, and... Back then, people didn't really seemed like they gave a shit,
Yeah, this guy's well respected, and he donates to the community.
Yeah, he's a doctor, I'm like...
Yeah, a doctor would never do that.
Yeah, would never be a bad person.
Yeah.
So I got one more story.
Okay.
This is back in 1946 in Mississippi. A pair of twins living in a small cabin with their mother Sandra started having problems sleeping. It started out of nowhere, but the two girls would start screaming in the middle of the night, claiming that there was a boogeyman visiting them. She would tell them that there was nothing to fear and that it was all in their imaginations, but that didn't stop them from continuing to see the evil creature in the room. After a while, their mother started to think something might actually be coming into the rooms, because when she would go into the rooms to calm them down, she would notice like a strange smell of like rotten eggs. And then, or sometimes she'd go in and she'd notice that the windows would be kind of cracked open when she knew she had closed them. And other times when she'd go kind of investigate further and found that there were strange marks outside the window and like weird footsteps, but they didn't seem human. They were, and it didn't seem like they were animal either. Mm-hmm. So this went on for weeks, and it started taking toll on the twins. They started getting pale, and their eyes started getting dark circles under the eyes, and they were just kind of getting sickly from not being able to sleep and being so stressed and having so much anxiety.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So Sandra decided to go to her mother and tell her that about the problem that she was having with the kids and all the crazy commotion. And when Sandra explained she thinks it kind of might be paranormal. Mm-hmm. So her mother told her not to worry about it, to go home, and that she'd come by later before it got dark, and she thinks she might have some something to solve her problems. So Sandra's mother, she went to go visit an old friend who was in town, who was in at that time in town. They believed that she was a witch.
Okay.
So she went and she paid the witch some money, and she got some information on how to get rid of whatever it was that was coming into the room. And so, as promised, Sandra's mother comes to Sandra's house later day before it got dark. So after it starts getting dark, Sandra's mother told everyone, everyone's going to go into Sandra's room, the kids, everyone's going to go to your room. Then you're all going to huddle on the bed, and I'm going to close the door behind me, and whatever I do, whatever you hear, don't come out of this room until I come back into the room. Mm-hmm. So she shuts the door, and they're in there for a little bit, and it becomes like super quiet, and they wait for a while. Some time goes by, and then they can hear after a while they can hear the old woman screaming, get out of my house, this is the power of Jesus Christ, I tell you to leave my home. And they hear her screaming, and then after some time goes by, all of a sudden they hear like things getting tossed around, and the like furniture flying against the wall. They hear all this stuff like just like a tornado or hurricane just went through the house. It's like just making all this noise. Mm-hmm. And while that's going on, they can hear their mother, the grandmother, just cussing and screaming, quoting Bible verses and yelling. And all of a sudden, it just becomes super quiet. It just dies down to nothing. When she was in there, it felt like it was an eternity. When finally Sandra's mother comes back to the room. And so Sandra's mother comes in and tells the kids, like, okay, I've taken care of the boogeyman. I took him down to the river because they lived by a river, and I drowned him, and he will no longer bother you again. And they said that after that night, never had a problem. You know, when they tell other people the story about how she drowned the boogeyman, a lot of people thought that she actually killed somebody.
Oh shit!
And so they even had cops come down to investigate what was going on, because people were like talking about how she had
actually killed somebody.
She might have murdered a bum.
Oh shit!
But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But apparently they did the investigation, and like nobody was missing or nobody died. So.
Yeah, you know, you remember that show, the cartoon of the Ghostbusters?
Yeah, yeah.
You remember the Boogeyman on there?
Oh, I vaguely remember that episode.
So when I was a kid, I remember that used to scare me. Remember he had like hoof feet, and he had like a real big head, and he had a voice that sounded like really like high pitched, like octaves were kind of a little bit. It was kind of deep but kind of high at the same time. Do you remember that at all?
Oh man, I want to say I remember kind of.
You should look him up. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I look him up. That dude is scary.
Yeah, remember that? That used to scare me, man. That used to be like, holy shit, man. Like, as a kid, I used to think he was like, he looked really weird, and yeah, man, I that shit scared me. And again, like you said at the beginning, you never knew what the boogeyman looked like, right?
Yeah, because you always hear like, oh, you know, better behave because the boogeyman's gonna get you. But they never
said what he looked like, right? Yeah.
Nobody never said what he looked like, or what, you know, if it was a man or woman, or if it was a creature or what.
No, exactly. You didn't know what, you know. There was no like form that it took, allegedly. So I mean, that's, I guess, being totally ambiguous. Your mind can just, you know, it's good for the parents because your mind can just think of anything.
Yeah, what the scariest thing you think of. That's what it's gonna be. Oh
shit, it's coming! God damn it, I'm in the bed. I'm going to bed. All right. Yeah, man. I used to like I said, that Ghostbusters Boogeyman guy used to freak me out.
Is that the real? It was the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Called that show, right? Is that still on? Was that on Netflix?
That's on Netflix now. Yeah, you can watch it on Netflix.
Is it still on there?
It is still on there. Yes, correct.
Because I remember watching them as a kid. I really remember enjoying them.
I did too, and I actually put them on about a month ago. I was showing it to my kids, and they liked it. Again, they haven't seen the movie Ghostbusters yet. I should probably put that on for them soon. Yeah, but it was a good movie. It was a good cartoon.
Did you watch it? When you watched it again, did you like it?
I still thought it was fine. I think, okay. You know, obviously it's dated, right? But it's still fine. Yeah. You know, it's not like watching He-Man. You know, you try watching that now.
It's all just pure garbage.
It's like, man, like I'm not even. Let me put it this way. I haven't watched it, but a lot of people who watched it, they didn't. It wasn't as good as they remembered it. So I'm choosing not to watch it.
Ghostbusters or He-Man?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
No, Ghostbusters or He-Man? They said that.
He-Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was He-Man. Ghostbusters. I think it still holds good. You know, the story was still good. You know, all the characters. It was good. But I didn't watch the new Ghostbusters, so I don't think they made a cartoon for those girls.
No, I hope not.
You hope not.
I did not like that one. That one was not funny at all.
I didn't watch it, so I couldn't say one way or the other.
Yeah, you should keep with that idea of not watching it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think I'll watch it. I'm not in any hurry to. Let's put it that way.
But I will try to. I'll probably try to watch the real Ghostbusters.
You should. Yeah, you should. It's not bad. I mean, after the show tonight, you should put it on before you go to bed and give it a shot. See what you think.
Get scared. See if the Boogeyman episode scares me.
Yeah, I mean, it was still good. Like I said, some of the stuff in there was, it was a little bit. I think about it. I was like, this was pretty good. I mean, so, we'll see. It might not hold up to your standards, but to me, I thought it was all right. I thought it was okay.
I'll have to check it out.
So I think that's all we got.
That's all we got for today. So we'll see you guys next week. So have a good morning, evening, or night, and whatever you do, stay strange.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.